In this video, we'll be looking at movement. Movement is one of the 3 actions you can perform as part of your player turn. To perform movement, there are 4 stages. The first stage is placing the order action token. To move a single unit, you'd place the order action token next to the unit. To move a square, you place it in the square, or in this case, where we're going to move 2 units together, we place it on the line bisecting the 2 squares. The second stage is to determine the colour action. I'll just put the dice here to remind us of the scale of the colours. Black being the easiest, all the way up to red being the most difficult. The colour action always starts off from black, but there are some modifiers depending on what the order is. So in this case, because we have just placed the order, that's then shifted up to white. There are no more modifiers. The third stage is to play a card from your hand equal to the colour of the command action. So in this place we need to play a white card to play the action. The fourth and last stage is the test of compliance. Move these away now. The test of compliance is the measure of success of the troops performing the order. This is a dice roll calculated based on the colour action, so white being 1. We then have some situational modifiers. So we have troops moving in line, so which means we add another dice. In this simple example, there are no more modifiers. We'll move the card down. We roll the dice, and the only effects that we want to try and avoid are the S's, and S's are sound of confusion. So in this case, there are no S's, so we perform the action with no impediment. So we just advance all the troops 1 square forward. That concludes their move. This is a more complicated example of a move. So the troops are continuing their advance forward, and now they've got across a fence to advance, and also then they're taking artillery fire as indicated by the artillery marker there. To perform the action, let's go through stages 1 through 4 of the action. First of which is to place or replace the order. We don't need to replace it, we don't need to place it, so we can skip to stage 2. Stage 2 is calculating the colour action. So we always shift up from the existing order. So the order is currently white, which means we shift up to green. There are no more modifiers because the order's been placed already, but this is a second order. The third stage is playing the card. So we need to play a card from our hand which is equal to or greater than the colour action. So in this case it's green. The fourth stage is to test the compliance. So again we take the dice equal to the colour on the card, so 2 dice are green, but this time we're going to move in line, we're adding another. We're also taking artillery fire, we add another, and we're crossing a fence, we add another. So we take the 5 dice and we roll them. So again, we're only looking for sounds of confusion. So we can discard all these dice. So we have 1 sound of confusion, which means we perform the order, but it takes us a little bit more effort than we expected to. So we shift up 1 more colour. So that then goes to yellow. And we then move our troops across the fence. We'll try and make our troops do a third move. This is probably ill-advised, but it gives us a good example of the rules. So they've moved twice already, they're still under artillery fire, and they've got more fence to cross. Their order is currently on yellow, and we're going to try and push them again to move again. So going through steps 1 through 4, we don't need to place or replace the order, we've already got one. Stage 2 is we need to calculate the colour action. So we're starting off from yellow, so we now need to shift up to red. Okay, that's not a good start. Stage 3 is to play a card, so as it's a red order we need a red card. Then we need to do our test of compliance. So as it's a red card, it's 4 dice. We're moving in line, 5, we're still under artillery fire, 6, and then we're crossing another fence, 7. So it's a 7 dice test. So again, we're just looking for S's because it's sound of confusion. Okay, so in this case we can disregard all of these, and we've scored 2 S's, which means that the troops are now suffering from a sound of confusion. So we've pushed our troops too hard. We now need to do a test for the sound of confusion. We do this by rolling a dice equal to the colour of the adversity, so there's artillery fire in the square, and also the colour of the colour action, so red. So we're going to throw a red and a green dice, and we're going to take the highest single result from these 2 dice. Okay, we've got a skull and we've got a stop. Okay, we'll talk about both of those results. We'll talk about the less one first. So if we'd have thrown a single S as the highest result, then our order would have changed from an advance to a halt, which means we swap the order, which would have stayed as red, but we've now got a halt. So the troops have stopped moving forward. An important thing to note here is because we have changed an order and we are at our maximum colour action total, that effectively shifts us up again. When we've got no place to go because we're already at maximum, we apply a low spirits marker to the unit. Low spirits means that they are of low morale. It's another marker to add to any subsequent tests, and in a general bad way. If we'd have counted the skull, so again we were on the move. A skull means we change the order to retire. So effectively we just rotate this around, we'd switch it up again, so effectively low spirits would come back, but then the troops would then retire back across the fence. Taking that red marker with them.
La carretera se ha llenado de piedras.